The massive research vessel Celestial Horizon drifted silently through the inky blackness of space, its advanced scanning systems probing the surrounding area with relentless precision. Inside the ship's observation deck, Hoon Park leaned forward, his slender fingers dancing across holographic displays that flickered with an array of complex data streams. A human cargo transport had just entered their scanning range, its hull reflecting the distant starlight. Most intriguing was the small biological entity detected within the ship's interior, a creature that immediately caught the attention of the alien research team. Rex, a compact bulldog with a muscular build and a coat of short brown and white fur, stood near the cargo transport's viewing window. His stocky frame moved with an unexpected grace that both fascinated and terrified the alien researchers. To Hoon and his team, Rex was not a simple pet, but a potential biological anomaly. Analyze the creature's movement patterns, Hoon instructed his junior researcher Sayok. The holographic displays zoomed in, tracking every subtle movement of the dog. Rex scratched his ear, then stretched, his muscles rippling beneath his fur. To the alien observers, each movement seemed calculated, potentially threatening. The ship's advanced translation systems attempted to decode the creature's biological signals. Rex's heart rate, muscle tension, and seemingly random movements were interpreted as complex communication protocols. What humans would recognize as a simple dog's behavior became to the aliens a potential language of warfare. Sayok's hands trembled as he compiled the initial report. The biological entity demonstrates extraordinary adaptive capabilities, he whispered. Its muscular structure suggests advanced combat potential. Recommendation: maximum caution. Rex, completely unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around, him simply yawned and turned in a small circle before settling down on a comfortable cushion. To the human crew, he was just a beloved pet. To the alien researchers, he was an unknown threat of unprecedented complexity. Commander Jiwoo Lee reviewed the initial scans, her eyes widening with each passing second. The creature's thermal signature, muscle density, and seemingly unpredictable movements suggested something far beyond a simple Earth-based life form. She saw potential weapon systems where David Kim saw a loyal companion. The cargo transport continued its journey, Rex occasionally lifting his head to look out the window or nudge his owner's hand. Each movement was meticulously recorded, analyzed, and misinterpreted by the alien research team. Look at its jaw structure, Hoon muttered, zooming in on Rex's mouth. Capable of exerting tremendous pressure. Potential crushing mechanism for advanced combat techniques. In reality, Rex was simply panting after a short play session, his tongue hanging out in a typical canine manner. David Kim remained oblivious to the intense scrutiny. He scratched Rex behind the ears, a simple act of affection that the alien researchers interpreted as some form of complex control mechanism. The dog's tail wagged, to humans a sign of happiness, to the aliens a potential communication signal of imminent attack. The Celestial Horizon maintained its discreet tracking position, its entire research team now focused on understanding this mysterious biological entity. Hours of data collection revealed nothing conclusive, yet heightened the aliens' growing paranoia about the potential threat. Rex, for his part, remained blissfully unaware. He adjusted his position, stretched, and let out a small snore that echoed through the cargo transport's quiet interior. To the human crew, it was an adorable moment. To the alien researchers, it was another piece of an increasingly complex puzzle. As the cargo transport continued its journey, the alien research team prepared their most comprehensive analysis. They had no idea that the creature they feared was nothing more than a simple bulldog, a loyal pet whose only mission was to love his human companion and enjoy the occasional treat. The first encounter had begun, and neither species understood the true nature of what was about to unfold. The alien research team worked tirelessly, collecting every possible detail about Rex. Their advanced scanning technology captured hundreds of hours of footage, transforming a simple dog's daily routine into what they believed was a complex military training scenario. Hoon Park assembled a special analysis group, each researcher assigned to decode a different aspect of Rex's behavior. They watched how the dog interacted with David Kim, misinterpreting every single moment as a potential strategic communication. When Rex played fetch, the aliens believed it was a sophisticated combat simulation. The way he would chase a tennis ball became, in their minds, a precision targeting exercise. Each throw of the ball was analyzed as a potential weapon deployment strategy. The dog's quick returns were seen as rapid response protocols, his excitement interpreted as combat readiness. Siok, the junior researcher, spent countless hours creating complex charts tracking Rex's daily activities. A nap became a regeneration cycle, eating was fuel intake and energy restoration, and playing with a chew toy was clearly weapon system maintenance. The most intense analysis came during Rex's bathroom breaks. What humans would see as a simple biological necessity, the aliens saw as a potential territorial marking system. Each movement was documented with scientific precision. They developed elaborate theories about how these markings might be some form of advanced communication or defensive strategy. One researcher, named Min, became particularly obsessed with Rex's sleeping patterns. The way the dog would curl up, sometimes stretching, was meticulously mapped. They created intricate graphs showing how Rex's body position changed throughout the night, believing each movement was a coded message of immense importance. David. Kim remained completely unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around his pet. To him, Rex was simply a loving companion who enjoyed walks, treats, and cuddles. The dog's routine was mundane: wake up, eat, play, walk, sleep. But to the alien researchers, it was anything but ordinary. The ship's computer systems worked overtime, processing every single frame of footage. They analyzed Rex's muscle movements, body temperature, breathing patterns, and even the way his ears would twitch. Each data point was cross-referenced, creating increasingly complex theories about the dog's true nature. When Rex would bark at a passing car or a squirrel in the backyard, the aliens believed it was a sophisticated communication method. They developed translation algorithms attempting to decode what they thought was a complex language. In reality, it was just a dog being a dog. The most comical misunderstanding came during Rex's grooming sessions. When David would brush the dog or clean his ears, the alien researchers believed it was some form of advanced maintenance procedure. They theorized that the brushing was a way of checking for potential damage, the ear cleaning a method of maintaining sensory equipment. Feeding time became an entire research project. Rex's excitement about food was interpreted as a complex nutritional strategy. The way he would sit and wait for his meal was seen as a disciplined military protocol. His occasional begging was viewed as a sophisticated negotiation technique. The research team began to develop increasingly elaborate theories. They created multiple simulation scenarios, each more ridiculous than the last. Rex was no longer just a dog. In their minds, he had become a potential weapon of unimaginable complexity. Commander Ji-Woo Lee reviewed the mounting evidence with growing concern. The research suggested that this seemingly simple creature might be the most dangerous biological entity they had ever encountered. Her team prepared extensive reports, each page filled with complex diagrams and wild theories about Rex's true nature. What they failed to understand was the simple truth: Rex was just a dog, a loyal, loving pet who enjoyed nothing more than spending time with his human, playing fetch and getting belly rubs. The entire alien research team had constructed an elaborate mythology around a creature whose most complex thought was probably about when he might get his next treat. As the research continued, the misunderstandings grew more profound. Rex remained blissfully unaware, continuing his simple doggy life, completely oblivious to the cosmic conspiracy being constructed around him. The tension aboard the Celestial Horizon reached a breaking point. Commander Ji-Woo Lee called an emergency meeting, her hands trembling as she projected the detailed research about Rex onto the main holographic display. The room filled with senior researchers, each looking more anxious than the last. "This creature," Ji-Woo began, her voice barely a whisper, "is preparing for total galactic domination." The evidence seemed overwhelming to their paranoid minds. Rex's daily routine had been transformed into a terrifying potential invasion strategy. His morning stretches were now interpreted as warm-up exercises for a potential attack. The way He would shake off water after a bath became a demonstration of advanced combat readiness. Hoon Park presented his most alarming findings. He had created an elaborate presentation showing how Rex's interactions with David Kim were actually complex communication protocols. Every pat on the head was a command. Every belly rub was a strategic planning session. The dog's tail wagging was clearly a sophisticated signaling method. The ship's military advisors began preparing defensive protocols. They developed intricate plans to counter what they believed was an imminent threat. Weapons systems were charged. Protective shields were activated, all because of a bulldog who was currently sleeping peacefully on a comfortable couch. Siak, the junior researcher, had gone completely over the edge. He had created a 500-page report detailing Rex's potential as a biological weapon. He argued that the dog's ability to hear sounds humans couldn't was actually an advanced reconnaissance technique. Its sense of smell became a method of detecting potential threats from miles away. The ship's communication systems were put on high alert. Every movement of the human cargo transport was tracked with obsessive precision. They monitored Rex's every action, believing each moment could be the prelude to a massive invasion. Military simulations were run constantly. What would happen if this creature decided to attack? How could they defend against such a potentially dangerous being? The researchers created increasingly elaborate scenarios, each more ridiculous than the last. Rex's chew toys became potential weapons. His collar was analyzed as a possible communication device. Even his water bowl was studied as a potential containment unit for some unknown biological agent. The aliens had transformed a simple pet into the most terrifying threat in the universe. Commander Ji Woo Lee started having sleepless nights. She would stare at the holographic displays, watching Rex's recorded movements, convinced that each moment was part of a larger, more sinister plan. Her team supported her growing paranoia, each researcher adding their own wild theories. The most extreme suggestion came from Min, who proposed creating a special containment unit specifically designed to neutralize the potential threat. We must be prepared, he argued. This creature could be the advance guard of a human invasion. Communication protocols were established. Emergency response teams were put on standby. The entire alien civilization was being mobilized because of a dog who was more interested in belly rubs than galactic conquest. David Kim remained completely unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around his pet. Rex continued his normal life, eating, sleeping, playing, loving his human. His most complex thought was probably about when he might get his next treat or walk. The irony was lost on the alien researchers. They had constructed an entire mythology around a creature whose entire existence was focused on simple companionship. Every bark, every wag of the tail, every playful jump was now viewed as a potential act of aggression. As the days passed, the paranoia grew. The celestial horizon became a vessel consumed by fear of a threat that existed only in their imagination. Rex, meanwhile, continued to be what he had always been, a loyal, loving dog who brought joy to his human companion. The universe had never seen a more ridiculous misunderstanding. A simple bulldog had become the most feared creature in an entire alien civilization's history. The diplomatic vessel approached silently, its massive hull gleaming against the darkness of space. Weapons fully charged, shields at maximum capacity. The entire ship was prepared for what they believed would be the most dangerous encounter in their species' history. David Kim stood on the cargo transport's observation deck, Rex sitting calmly beside him. The bulldog's tail wagged softly, completely unaware of the impending confrontation. He looked up at his owner, waiting for a potential treat or a walk. Commander Ji Woo Lee's voice crackled through the communication systems. Her translator struggled to maintain composure as she attempted to sound diplomatic, while barely concealing her absolute terror. "Human vessel," she began, "we require immediate discussion about the biological weapon you are transporting." David looked confused. "Biological weapon?" he repeated, scratching his head. Rex tilted his head, mirroring his owner's puzzlement. Hoon Park's voice joined the communication. "We have extensive documentation of the creature's potential threat. Its movement patterns suggest advanced combat capabilities. We demand immediate neutralization or containment. Rex chose that moment to yawn, stretch, and then sit down, looking utterly unimpressive. The alien diplomatic team had prepared for multiple scenarios. They had weapons designed to neutralize biological threats. Complex containment units stood ready. Entire research teams had developed sophisticated strategies for what they believed would be an epic confrontation. The creature you call a pet, Jiwoo continued, demonstrates extraordinary capabilities that suggest potential galactic threat. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the deep fear underlying her words. David couldn't help but laugh. Rex, hearing his owner's amusement, wagged his tail and looked up expectantly. To the aliens watching through high-resolution scanners, this simple interaction appeared to be some form of complex communication protocol. The ship's internal systems showed multiple threat scenarios. Rex's muscle movements were analyzed in real time. His breathing was monitored. Every twitch, every small movement became a potential sign of imminent attack. "We request immediate surrender of the biological entity," Hoon Park demanded, his hands hovering over complex control panels. David looked down at Rex, who was now rolling onto his back, waiting for a belly rub. "Surrender? He's my dog," David said, completely bewildered by the situation. The alien researchers had spent months creating elaborate theories about Rex. They had developed complex charts tracking his every movement. Hundreds of research hours had been dedicated to understanding what they believed was the most dangerous creature in the universe. Rex, meanwhile, was more interested in a nearby tennis ball. He looked at David, his eyes pleading for someone to throw it. The aliens interpreted this as a potential targeting sequence, a preparation for some unknown attack. Siak, the junior researcher, was practically vibrating with tension. "Thermal readings suggest imminent action," he whispered to his commander. Rex was simply panting after a brief moment of excitement. The confrontation reached its peak. Alien weapons were fully charged, containment units were primed. An entire civilization's military might was focused on a single bulldog who was more interested in getting a treat than conquering the galaxy. David held Rex's collar, sensing something was wrong. "Is everything okay?" he asked, looking confused at the alien vessel's aggressive posture. Rex looked up, his tongue hanging out, completely unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around him. To the aliens, this was a terrifying display of potential aggression. To David, it was just another moment with his beloved pet. The universe held its breath. Millions of light years away, an entire alien civilization prepared for what they believed would be the most significant confrontation in their history. All because of a bulldog named Rex, who was more interested in a potential belly rub than galactic domination. In that moment, the line between misunderstanding and potential conflict was razor thin. One simple action could trigger an intergalactic incident. Rex wagged his tail, oblivious to the tension surrounding him. The silence stretched between the two vessels, tension so thick it could be cut with a knife. Rex sat quietly, his tail occasionally thumping against the floor, completely unaware of the cosmic misunderstanding unfolding around him. Hoon Park's hands trembled over the communication controls. Years of research, countless hours of analysis, and mountains of data had led to this moment. Commander Jiwoo Lee stood rigid, her entire body prepared for what she believed would be the most critical encounter in their species' history. "David," Kim broke the silence. "Would you like to meet Rex?" he asked, genuinely confused by the alien vessel's aggressive posture. The translation systems worked overtime, converting his simple question into complex alien language. What seemed like an innocent invitation became in their minds a potential diplomatic trap. Siak, the junior researcher, analyzed every millisecond of incoming data. Rex's breathing, muscle movements, even the way his ears occasionally twitched were interpreted as potential threat indicators. The bulldog scratched an ear, completely oblivious to the intergalactic drama. A breakthrough came unexpectedly. One of the alien researchers, a junior scientist named Min, noticed something peculiar. The detailed scans showed something the team had missed in their months of paranoid research: pure, unconditional affection. The way Rex looked at David was not a strategic communication protocol. It was love. Simple, pure, uncomplicated love that transcended species and technological understanding. "Commander," Min whispered, "I don't think this is a weapon. This is something else." Jiwoo reluctantly allowed a live communication feed. David picked up Rex, who immediately became excited, his tail wagging furiously. To the aliens, what had seemed like a potential attack sequence was simply a dog's pure joy at being held by his owner. The revelation came slowly. Rex was not a biological weapon. He was not a strategic threat. He was a pet, a companion designed solely to provide love and companionship to humans. Hoon Park's elaborate theories began to crumble. The 500-page reports, the complex analysis, the fear that had consumed their entire research team, all of it dissolved in a moment of simple understanding. Rex licked David's face, a gesture of pure affection that the aliens had completely misunderstood. What they had seen as a potential attack mechanism was simply a dog showing love to his human. The alien researchers watched in stunned silence as David played a simple game of fetch with Rex. Each throw of the ball, each excited return, was not a military exercise but a moment of pure joy between a human and his pet. Commander Jiwoo Lee felt something she had never experienced before: embarrassment. Months of preparation, entire research teams mobilized, military resources committed, all because of a misunderstanding about a dog. Communication channels opened fully. The truth became clear. Humans had companions that served no strategic purpose. They kept animals simply for love, companionship, and joy. This concept was completely alien to the research team's understanding of interspecies relationships. Rex, completely unaware of the cosmic revelation he had triggered, continued to enjoy his day. He wagged his tail, looked expectantly at David, for another throw of the ball, and occasionally scratched an ear. The alien vessel's weapons powered down. Containment units were dismantled. Entire research teams began rewriting their understanding of biological interactions between species. What had begun as a potential intergalactic incident became a moment of unexpected understanding. A simple bulldog had done what years of diplomatic negotiations could not. He had bridged an impossible communication gap. As the vessels prepared to part ways, Rex sat quietly, his head resting on David's lap. To him, nothing had changed. He was just happy to be with his human, unaware that he had just changed the course of interstellar understanding. The universe, it seemed, could be changed not by weapons or complex strategies, but by something far more simple: the unconditional love between a human and his pet. Rex wagged his tail, completely unaware that he had just become the most important ambassador in cosmic history.